Everyone's talking about the same bikes, but the real value is hiding in plain sight. These are 7 motorcycles most riders overlook, yet they offer unbeatable performance, reliability, and classic style. Dealerships are eager to move them, and right now they're priced to move faster than ever. Number 7. Moto Guzzi V7 Classic. This is the kind of motorcycle that most riders walk past without giving a second glance. Quiet, unassuming, and deeply rooted in heritage. In a market dominated by loud pipes, heavy chrome, and oversized fairings, the Moto Guzzi V7 Classic offers a breath of fresh air. It is not built to chase records or make headlines. Instead, it focuses on the purity of the ride, with timeless design, mechanical simplicity, and just enough power to make every trip enjoyable. That is exactly why it remains one of the most underrated machines you can buy today. At the heart of the V7 Classic is a transverse-mounted V-twin engine that is unmistakably Moto Guzzi in character and sound. It displaces 744 cubic centimeters and produces 50 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque. While these numbers may not break any records, they are more than adequate for relaxed cruising, spirited backroad riding, and urban commuting. The engine is paired with a 5-speed transmission and uses a shaft drive, offering clean and low-maintenance power delivery. The smooth, torquey curve and gentle throttle response make this bike approachable for newer riders and endlessly enjoyable for seasoned ones. The fueling is controlled by electronic fuel injection, ensuring reliable cold starts and smooth throttle input. That means less time fussing in the garage and more time enjoying the open road. The ride quality is supported by a double cradle steel frame, offering stability without harshness. Suspension comes in the form of a traditional telescopic front fork with 130 millimeters of travel, and twin rear shocks with 118 millimeters of travel and adjustable preload. Whether you are riding solo or with luggage, the V7 handles bumps, cracks, and rough patches with surprising grace. Stopping power is provided by a single 320mm disc up front with a Brembo caliper and a 220mm disc at the rear. It is not an aggressive braking setup, but it gets the job done reliably. The bike rolls on classic wire-spoke wheels with 18-inch rims in the front and 17 inches in the rear, wrapped in tube-type tires. Combined with the bike's predictable geometry, it delivers stable cornering and easy handling at low speeds or in tighter turns. The V7 Classic tips the scales at approximately 404 pounds dry and just under 470 pounds wet. That puts it in the light to mid-weight category, making it manageable even for smaller riders or those returning to motorcycling after years away. The 31-inch seat height and slim tank profile contribute to excellent rider comfort, allowing for flat foot confidence at stoplights and relaxed posture on longer rides. The fuel tank holds 4.5 gallons, offering impressive range thanks to the bike's efficient tuning, with fuel economy often exceeding 50 miles per gallon. Used bikes of the V7 Classic can typically be found for as little as $4,500 in good condition. Because Moto Guzzi does not have the name recognition in the United States that Harley-Davidson enjoys, these bikes are often overlooked. Despite offering European craftsmanship, unique styling, and a riding experience that rivals far more expensive models, it is a true hidden gem. If the V7's vintage elegance catches your eye, the next bike will surprise you with pure sport bike looks at a beginner-friendly price. Finding deals like these is half the battle. Now it's time to act. Like, comment your favorite find, and subscribe for more savvy riding tips and affordable bike reviews. Number 6. Hyosung GT 250R. Some motorcycles grab your attention with raw power, while others earn it with character. This one does it with illusion. At a glance, the Hyosung GT 250R looks like a full-size leader bike, the kind of machine you'd expect to hear screaming down a racetrack. Its full fairings, aggressive stance, dual headlights, and big bike proportions give it the visual presence of a motorcycle that should cost well over $10,000. But under that race-ready exterior is something much more approachable and much more affordable. The engine is a 249 cubic centimeter V-twin that produces approximately 28 horsepower and just over 16 pound-feet of torque. This setup makes it a great platform for newer riders or city commuters who want to experience the feel of a sport bike without being overwhelmed. The power delivery is smooth and linear, allowing the rider to build confidence without sacrificing fun. While other bikes in this class rely on single-cylinder engines, the GT 250R's V-twin configuration gives it a deeper exhaust note and more refined throttle behavior, especially in the low and mid-range. Paired with a 5-speed transmission and carbureted fueling in early models, later versions used electronic fuel injection, the bike offers enough performance for highway speeds while remaining calm and collected at lower revs. It is not built to win drag races, but that is not the point. It is about giving a real motorcycle experience in a size and price range that welcomes rather than intimidates. This machine rides on a steel perimeter frame, a feature typically found on larger displacement bikes. The frame design increases rigidity and gives the GT 250R excellent stability through corners. Suspension includes a conventional telescopic front fork and a monoshock rear setup, both tuned for street riding rather than aggressive track days. This keeps the bike planted and predictable over bumps and around tighter turns, even for less experienced hands. Braking is handled by a single front disc with a twin-piston caliper and a rear disc, providing solid stopping power without needing advanced electronic aids. Weighing in at approximately 375 pounds wet, the GT 250R feels light enough to maneuver easily, while still having enough heft to feel like a real motorcycle. The seat height sits at just over 30 inches, which makes it accessible to most riders, even those on the shorter side. Its full-size bodywork also means it does not look or feel like a scaled-down beginner bike. Another unique advantage is its chassis size and body proportions. The GT 250R shares its frame with the Hyosung GT 650R, meaning many of its parts and upgrade options are interchangeable. From handlebars and rear sets to fairings and brakes, there's a wide range of aftermarket support. Maintenance is straightforward too. Fuel capacity sits at a comfortable 4.2 gallons, which, combined with excellent fuel efficiency that often exceeds 70 miles per gallon, makes this an excellent daily commuter. Used prices typically land between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on year and condition, which puts it in a category few other sport-styled motorcycles can touch. It's not just affordable, it's visually deceptive in the best possible way. Now, if you are looking for something truly practical, but with a twist that most riders never expect, you will want to see the next pick on the list. Looking for gear to go with your next bike? We've linked the trusted jackets, gloves, and helmets riders actually use. Check the description. Number 5. Honda NC 710 and NC 75010. For riders who want a motorcycle that works as hard as they do, few bikes match the unique blend of practicality and performance found in the NC 700X and NC 750X. These machines are often misunderstood and overlooked, mainly because they do not follow the traditional blueprint of what a motorcycle should be. Under the tank, or rather where the tank would normally sit, you will find a storage compartment large enough to fit a full-face helmet. This front trunk is one of the defining features of the NC series and adds everyday utility that riders quickly come to appreciate. The actual fuel tank is mounted under the seat to help lower the center of gravity, which improves balance and handling at low speeds. From a design standpoint, this alone sets the NC 700X and NC 750X apart from almost every other bike in their class. At the core of this motorcycle is a parallel twin engine that displaces between 670 and 745 cubic centimeters, depending on the model year. The engine produces approximately 54 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque, which might seem modest, but the power is available low in the rev range. That makes for a very responsive, usable throttle in city traffic and when pulling away from stoplights. It is ideal for riders who prioritize low-end grunt and fuel economy over top-speed thrills. You can find these bikes with either a 6-speed manual transmission or Honda's dual-clutch automatic option, which allows for clutchless shifting. For older riders or those with knee or wrist issues, the automatic version makes a lot of sense and does not sacrifice performance. The fuel injection system is precise and dependable, delivering consistent throttle response and easy cold starts. With fuel economy often reaching over 60 miles per gallon, this is one of the most efficient midweight motorcycles ever built. The chassis uses a steel diamond frame that feels solid and planted, whether you are carving back roads or maneuvering through weekday traffic. The front suspension consists of a 41mm telescopic fork with nearly 6 inches of travel, while the rear has a single monoshock with preload adjustability. The suspension is tuned more for road comfort than aggressive riding, making the NC series an excellent long-distance commuter. Braking is handled by a single 320mm front disc with a twin-piston caliper and a 240mm rear disc with a single piston caliper. Anti-lock braking systems are included on most versions, adding extra confidence in wet or unpredictable conditions. The NC 700X and NC 750X both ride on 17-inch cast aluminum wheels, and they tip the scales at approximately 475 pounds wet. That puts them in a very manageable weight class for most adult riders. The upright seating position, wide handlebars, and plush seat make long rides surprisingly comfortable. The windscreen, while not huge, does a respectable job deflecting air at highway speeds, and aftermarket taller shields are readily available for touring purposes. On the used market, well-maintained NC 700X and NC 750X models regularly sell between $4,000 and $5,500. That is excellent value for a motorcycle that can be your daily commuter, weekend tourer, and long-term partner all in one. From future-thinking practicality to old-school durability, the next bike proves that simple can still mean sensational. Number 4. Kawasaki ZR7S. There was a time when motorcycles were simple, rugged, and built to be ridden hard and maintained in a garage with nothing more than a manual, a socket set, and some patience. The Kawasaki ZR7S is exactly that kind of machine. It never tried to be flashy, it never won races, and it certainly never got the spotlight. But for riders who know what they want, durability, power, and mechanical honesty, it remains one of the most underrated bikes on the used market. Beneath the surface lies an air-cooled inline-4 engine that displaces 738 cubic centimeters. This reliable power plant produces approximately 75 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. That combination offers smooth and linear power delivery across the rev range, making it ideal for both highway riding and everyday commuting. It is not a high-strung sport bike engine, but it is strong, dependable, and incredibly well-balanced. Mated to a 5-speed transmission, the ZR7S provides predictable gearing that allows riders to stay in the power band without constant shifting. This bike rides on a traditional steel double cradle frame, which gives it strength and stability without unnecessary weight. Suspension is handled by a standard front telescopic fork and dual rear shocks with adjustable preload. The setup leans more toward comfort and all-around usability than razor-sharp handling, which is perfect for long rides or urban cruising. The braking system features a pair of dual disc brakes up front and a single disc brake at the rear. The riding position is neutral and relaxed, with a slight forward lean that keeps weight off the wrist but still gives you feedback through the bars. The seat is wide and well cushioned, built for comfort over distance. Taller riders will find the ergonomics surprisingly accommodating, while shorter riders benefit from the narrow tank and reasonable seat height of 31 inches. Wind protection is enhanced by the bike's half fairing, which gives it a sport touring silhouette without the complexity of a full-dress tourer. Another strong suit is maintenance. The ZR7S is one of those rare machines that you can easily work on at home. Valve adjustments, chain service, carb tuning, and even oil changes are all accessible without proprietary tools or complicated disassembly. It is a favorite among DIY mechanics and riders who value self-sufficiency. There are no rider modes, no screens, and no hidden electronics to worry about, just a well-designed machine that gets the job done with no drama. This bike also benefits from real-world functionality. With a fuel tank capacity of 5.5 gallons and fuel economy around 45 miles per gallon, you can ride for well over 200 miles between fill-ups. The analog gauges are easy to read and reliable, offering the basics without distraction. Storage is easy to add via aftermarket racks and bags, and the subframe is strong enough to handle luggage for weekend trips. You can regularly find clean, well-running bikes for between $2,000 and $2,500. That is an incredible value for a motorcycle with an inline-4 engine, full-size comfort, and proven longevity. And because it never caught fire in the market, you are not paying a collector tax or a brand premium. You are simply getting more motorcycle for your money than most people even realize. While the ZR7S quietly handles business, this next machine blends cruiser DNA with a sporty edge you will not expect from the badge. Number 3. Honda Shadow RS. There are motorcycles that follow the rulebook, and then there are bikes like this. Machines that quietly break the mold without trying to grab headlines. While most cruisers lean toward a laid-back, stretched-out design, this one took a different path. It was engineered for riders who wanted a little more edge in their posture, a little more feedback in their throttle, and a whole lot of reliability in their ride. It came and went without fanfare, but for those who know what they are looking at, it stands tall as one of the most underrated cruisers ever built. This cruiser is powered by a V-twin engine that displaces 745 cubic centimeters. It produces approximately 43 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. That is not about raw muscle. It is about refined, predictable performance that you can enjoy every day. The power band is tuned for low-end grunt, making it easy to launch off the line and cruise comfortably at city speeds or out on the highway. Paired with a 5-speed transmission, it gives riders a consistent feel in every gear, especially when climbing hills or passing traffic. What sets it apart from other Shadows is not just its style, it is the structure. Instead of going for a classic stretched-back design, this bike brings in a flatter seat, mid-mounted foot pegs, and a narrower handlebar setup. That results in a slightly forward-leaning posture that gives it a sportier feel, much like the Harley-Davidson Sportster series that it often gets compared to. However, where it differs even more is in the final drive. This Shadow uses a shaft drive instead of a chain or belt. That means smoother power delivery, less maintenance, and a cleaner overall setup at the rear. The frame is a steel double cradle unit tuned for strength and stability. Suspension includes a front 41mm telescopic fork with 4 6/10 inches of travel and dual rear shocks with 5-step preload adjustability. Together, this suspension setup smooths out uneven roads while still giving the rider good feel through corners. Braking comes courtesy of a single front disc brake and a rear drum brake. While it may not be high-tech, the stopping power is more than enough for the bike's weight and purpose, and the simple system means fewer parts to worry about in the long run. In terms of size, this cruiser tips the scales at approximately 505 pounds wet. That makes it manageable for most riders, especially those looking to transition from smaller bikes into the cruiser category without jumping into something oversized. The seat height is just over 29 inches, offering a grounded and stable platform at stops. It carries a fuel tank that holds 3.5 gallons, which, combined with the engine's efficiency, offers a very respectable range for a mid-sized cruiser. Despite all these strengths, this bike remained underappreciated during its limited production run in the early 2010s. Many potential buyers overlooked it in favor of more traditional cruisers or larger V-twins. Today, that lack of attention plays to your advantage. Well-maintained used models typically go for around $4,000. That is a solid value for a motorcycle that combines mechanical durability, comfort, and a unique riding experience. It is the kind of machine that becomes more rewarding the longer you own it. But if you are craving versatility and do not mind standing out from the crowd, the next ride is a dual-purpose weapon in disguise. Can't believe how cheap these bikes are, right? If you think you found your next ride, hit that like button, share your favorite in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more hidden motorcycle deals. Number 2. Suzuki DRZ 400SM Supermoto. This is one of those motorcycles that never quite fits into a box. It is not a full-on sport bike, it is not a traditional cruiser, and it certainly is not a bulky touring rig. What it is, however, is one of the most versatile, nimble, and fun machines you can ride. The Suzuki DRZ 400SM Supermoto is built on the foundation of a dirt bike, modified for street use, and tuned for the kind of rider who values agility, responsiveness, and all-day smiles more than raw horsepower or chrome detailing. At the core of the DRZ 400SM is a single-cylinder liquid-cooled engine that displaces 398 cubic centimeters. It produces approximately 39 horsepower and 29 pound-feet of torque. This engine is mated to a 5-speed transmission and delivers its power in a smooth, responsive way that is easy to control, even for newer riders. The lightweight frame and flat, torquey curve make it ideal for city riding, quick errands, or ripping through twisty back roads. Unlike high-revving sport bikes, the torque is available right from the bottom of the rev range, giving you confident pull without needing to wring the throttle out. What really sets the DRZ 400SM apart from anything else on this list is how it handles. This bike weighs in at only 319 pounds wet, which means it is incredibly flickable and easy to maneuver in tight spaces. You can weave through traffic, hop curbs, or glide through narrow alleyways with complete control. The suspension setup is carried over from its off-road sibling, the DRZ 400S, and includes a fully adjustable inverted front fork with long travel and a fully adjustable rear shock. Braking is handled by a large 310mm front disc with a dual piston caliper and a 240mm rear disc with a single piston caliper. Combined with the bike's low weight and grippy tires, it offers aggressive stopping power and quick recovery between corners. Speaking of tires, the DRZ 400SM rolls on 17-inch wheels front and rear, fitted with sport bike-style rubber that gives it sharp, precise road handling not found on typical dual sports. The cast wheels also improve road feel and reduce unsprung weight, which contributes to its quick handling. One of the reasons this bike continues to fly under the radar is that it does not fit neatly into the usual marketing categories. Cruiser riders find it too upright and too light. Sport bike fans might dismiss it for not having the horsepower of an inline-4, and touring riders will likely want something with more wind protection and luggage. But for the rider who wants something that is just plain fun, capable of handling a little bit of everything and light enough to throw around like a toy, the DRZ 400SM is hard to beat. The DRZ 400SM is also widely available on the used market, often found in excellent condition for between $4,500 and $5,000. For that price, you are getting a bike that can handle daily commutes, weekend adventures, and everything in between. It is quick, practical, fun, and surprisingly refined. Yet because it lacks mainstream attention, it remains one of the most undervalued bikes on the road today. Now, if you are still not sold, the #1 bike on this list offers inline-4 power, sporty comfort, and used prices so low, it is almost suspicious. Number 1. Yamaha FZ 6R. There is a long-standing belief that true sport bike performance comes with sacrifice. Sacrifices in comfort, practicality, and price. The Yamaha FZ 6R challenges that idea by blending sport bike DNA with real-world rideability, making it one of the most accessible and overlooked machines on the used market. While many riders chase after fully fared race replicas, this one flies under the radar with its balance of power, comfort, and everyday usability. It does not demand a racetrack to shine. Instead, it rewards riders in daily traffic, weekend twisties, and everything in between. Powering the FZ6R is a liquid-cooled inline-4 engine derived from an earlier R6 platform. The displacement is 600 cubic centimeters, producing approximately 78 horsepower and 44 pound-feet of torque. What sets this engine apart is the way it has been tuned. Rather than peaky power that only comes alive at high revolutions per minute, the FZ6R delivers strong mid-range torque and smoother throttle response, making it more suitable for street riding and longer commutes. Riders get the joy of revving an inline-4 without being punished by constant gear changes or throttle twitchiness. The FZ6R uses a steel diamond-type frame for a strong but forgiving ride. It features conventional telescopic front forks and a rear monoshock with adjustable preload, offering a comfortable suspension setup that handles uneven pavement and twisty back roads with equal grace. The braking system includes dual hydraulic discs up front and a single disc in the rear, with solid bite and progressive feel, though it does not include advanced systems like anti-lock braking on earlier models. It is straightforward, functional, and does the job well for the bike's performance class. The bike comes with a full fairing for improved aerodynamics and rider wind protection, a rarity at this price point in the used market. The ergonomics are notably more relaxed than what you would expect from a supersport. The FZ6R features slightly raised clip-ons and mid-mounted foot pegs, offering a semi-upright riding position that helps reduce wrist and back strain. The seat is broad and well padded, allowing for extended ride comfort. With a curb weight of approximately 467 pounds and a seat height of 30.9 inches, it remains manageable for a wide range of rider sizes and skill levels. Fuel capacity is just over 4 gallons, offering a comfortable range for commuting or short-distance touring. The instrument cluster is clean and functional, providing a combination of analog tachometer and digital display for speed, fuel, and other readouts. While it lacks modern rider aids like traction control or riding modes, the FZ6R offers something arguably more valuable: predictable performance that builds rider confidence with every mile. Where the FZ6R truly stands out is in its market value. Used models in excellent condition can frequently be found for around $4,000 or even less, depending on mileage and modifications. That puts it well within reach for riders looking to upgrade from entry-level bikes without jumping into high-cost maintenance or intimidating horsepower figures. Because the FZ6R never developed the cult status of the R6 or R1, its resale value stayed low despite delivering solid performance, reliable engineering, and a versatile ride experience. Your perfect bike could be one of these underrated machines. Don't let these deals pass you by. Like, comment with your favorite, and subscribe for more tips and hidden gems just like this.